Hi everyone, I'm Deborah Westbrook. Welcome on Facebook and YouTube. So today we're going to talk about memory in the field. The field holds potential. You are remembered in the field. You didn't come here just without knowing who you are. You came here in a lower energy vibration with a conscious awakening to that higher self that tells you you're in the essence of I am. So we're going to talk about reality. What is reality? There's many different beliefs out there. We're just going to process. Sometimes the universe sends me a lot of entangled thoughts. It sends me this belief and then this belief, and I look at all of them, and out of it I pull something that I believe. So today is just a means of encouraging you to your brilliance. That's my whole focus as I integrate science and spirituality. It's just very simple, that you are transcendent in your humanity and you do not let anything tell you otherwise. So let's get started. So the field is memory. It's you remembering you. It's a field of energy, but it's also quantum physicists and are starting to think it contains information. Well, what is information? It's not just data. Information is in formation through heart-brain intelligence. It correlates and it defragments you into the wholeness of who you are. So let's talk about reality. So how do I respond to reality? There's a lot of different beliefs out there. So let's just look at a few of them, and then I'll tell you what I've come to believe. But remember, we're all on a journey and we're all in process. So there's no one way of believing anything. We're processing a lot of different things. So how do I respond to this reality, this so-called reality in which I live? Well, many belief systems out there will say you're being controlled by higher entities that have formed a simulation that keep you locked down from prime reality. Is there truth to this? Yeah, I believe there's a measure of truth, but not if it limits me in transcending in my humanity. The goal of that, if that is true, is to leave the simulation through meditation or through conscious awakening to see who I am in my higher self, in my divine self, and then walk this out on the earth. But many people get locked into that simulation. And sometimes there's writers that write about this, and they're somewhat negative. It's like they don't breathe life into it. It's like you're trapped, you're governed by every entity out there flowing through government, technology, religion, or whatever. But you don't have to be like that. So that is one way that people believe. Another way people believe about reality is that they believe that they've got to learn something here, that somehow this is a base reality and I have to rise into a higher dimension. Well, how do I do that? Many believe in reincarnation. I am not one of those, but if that's your choice, that's your choice, where you have to loop back over and over to somehow evolve into an enlightened status whereby you ascend. Now, the reason I question it is because I keep thinking, why would a God, a divine mind, the creator, the beauty of who God is, want you to keep coming back and then not remembering anything in order to evolve? That seems outlandish to me. And so what happens is, it's like, I heard someone say, it's like going through elementary school, but when you get to high school, not remembering anything you learned in elementary school. It seems ridiculous. But those are just my opinions. But I do believe this. There's a third way of looking at reality, and that it's a simulation. It is a virtual simulation where I am projected from a holographic universe into the wholeness of who I am as a fractal of God. What does that mean? It means that everything I need is within me, that I am not a piece of God or a part of God. I am all God within my being, because a fractal never is divided into fragments. It is the projection of the whole into the whole. And so I am not fragmented. So if I've been put here as a virtual reality, why is that? Does that mean that My humanity is downgraded. Does that mean that I'm less than? No, not at all. It means I'm put here to learn, to grow, and to expand for specific purposes, which we'll get into. I ascribe to this as, and Braden has a great series on Gaia about the simulation. Also, a lot of my thoughts will be taken from Ervin Laszlo's book about the Akashic Field. So there's different ways of looking into reality. But the main thing I want to focus that in this virtual reality or this simulation, it's not an illusion. It exists because you're living in it. And how do you navigate it? You navigate it in your transcendent humanity. Well, what if you don't remember who you are? What if you think you're nothing? What if your subconscious keeps telling you that you don't belong, that you're nothing? Well, you have to contact a higher self, or what is in God. You have to contact that I am essence in the field, because in the field is a memory of your I am. It is the essence of who you are. You're not random. You're not just fluctuating energy. You are here for a purpose, and you don't have to put pressure on yourself to find that purpose. Life is a journey. And so that verse that says, be still and know, that is a powerful, powerful reality. So if I connect with the memory field, in the Akashic field, in the plenum, it's called the quantum vacuum, I encounter who I am. It doesn't exactly give me data in order to do this and do this. It builds up in the essence of how I am created, the very foundation of how I am created, brilliant, curious, adventurous, and why I have been put into time for such a time as that, to explore that I am essence. It's not very complicated. So we will transcend and move on since we are immortal. So in the simulation, I'm just kind of throwing out ideas. I'll get specific over the next couple weeks as we talk about this. So we're immortal. So simulations have a beginning and an end, and I'll go into it again in this message. So we didn't start here. We didn't end here, but we've been brought into time for such a time as this. And it's a beautiful life as we defragmented all the parts into a new birth. So I am here now to expand in my conscious awareness. Why? For myself? Well, I'm in a collective consciousness. So I am wanting to move in a higher realm of awareness, not just for me, but collectively, to shift the planet in its evolution. More on that in a minute. So I am a fractal of a holographic projection. Let's call it beautiful, divine mind, God, source. Because I am in a low energy body, I am projected into time, but my connection is outside of time. That's why if you're locked into time, by just your 3D senses, you see a very limited reality. Then you buy the narrative, which is an illusion of trying to lock you down. It's really all quite simple when you take control of your life, just being you, discovering who you are, and start on the journey of an expansion of awareness and wholeness in God. So a fractal, this projection comes into this hologram, and a lot of scientists are showing this to be the way they're believing, including Greg Braden, and I kind of bear witness with this. So when you're projected into this reality, you're total, you're full, you're a fractal. And as I said, a fractal is whole because it flows from the whole. But the thing is that after about age 7, you start becoming fragmented. So the fractal who you are, you're suddenly dispersed in every different direction, trying to fulfill a 3D agenda to define you, missing the definition of the potential in the field that would have you move more effortlessly in life through your intuition. So there is significant evidence that the experiences of individuals don't vanish without trace, but can be recalled, not from the brain, but from the Akashic Field, or the fundamental of the universe, which is consciousness. Any and all experiences in life, because nothing is left behind, nothing is disregarded. There's no way to disregard anything from the all, because the all is the all. So how do you tap into that, and what does it mean? Again, I want to stress, it's not data. You're not going to tap into deep times of meditation, and those times are going to tell you, go there, go there. No, that's intuition, which flows from essence. If you don't know essence, you're going to intuitively respond to whatever the ego may send you. But that's not true intuition. That's not going to consciously awaken you. And what happens is that intuition flows from essence, not vice versa. So because the consciousness of the field has memory, we're going to disregard everything that technology tells us, okay? Believe it or not, if you do any research on major technological transhumanists, they will tell you that consciousness begins in the brain. Of course, they're also not at all spiritual. They negate anything metaphysical, and they say that because consciousness resides in the brain, you start here and you stop here. Therefore, let's upload that to an avatar, which many have done. They've loaded themselves into a computer program to leave behind for their grandkids and for generations coming after them. But to me, that's insanity. That is just like pure BS. Consciousness does not originate in the brain. The brain has receptors that are sensitive to positions in the field that hook into the potential outside of time to manifest in time who you are. That is why heart-brain coherence is very, very important. The heart has so many system sensors and antenna that connect with the field in addition to the mind. So perhaps the mind gets the image, but the heart engages with the essence. The mind gets the image, the heart engages with the essence, and you connect in the field outside of time to find your true self, which the world at large right now does not want you to find. So that takes times of stillness, because if the mind is controlled by just what you see in the 3D realm, you're getting your cues from the 3D realm. And then you're buying into anything. You got to have a degree, you got to have this is the American dream, and you have to have so much money, you have to buy this type of car, wear this type of clothes, have this many followers, you're an influencer, and there's all these regulations that are put upon you from the 3D realm. But when you connect higher, it's just a change of your reality here. You see outside the bounds of what you're limited to here, and you connect intuitively. So consciousness is not in the brain. It is fundamental to the universe. And so I want to go back to saying that the whole essence of transhumanism, which I'm going to talk about in the future because of the dream I had, the whole essence of transhumanism is exactly that. To negate your humanity as flawed, that somehow you need something to assist you, implanted in you, to help you. Do you know how scrolling affects the hippocampus in so many ways? And the hippocampus is the field of, it's the part of the brain of memories and creativity. Do you know how the constant pressures of social media will lock you down? This is not by accident. Why do you think you see the algorithms you see? They're perpetuated to keep you in a loop over and over and over. That's a done deal. So when you connect with the field, you remember. You have to face and look at certain things that are encountered in deep times of meditation, and somehow they take all the pieces of that moment when you experience that perfect energy of love and perfection, and there's no thoughts in that time. There's no time in that time. But what it's doing is it's filling you up to when you come out of that meditation, there is a sense of deep satisfaction of not wanting to be anything other than you, or do anything other than you, and to face life with a new clarity of observation and critical thinking to expand your consciousness. That is why it is important to spend time in times of silence, however you do it, through breath work, through yoga, through meditation, it doesn't matter. But to find you, you have to spend time with you. You can't find you through anyone else until you discover who you are, and then the universe brings you, will bring you things that will align you. So now, let's get a little bit more specific. Reality is here and now. I experience it in my humanity by realizing the essence of my divinity. I believe I am, as I said, a fractal and a simulation projected from prime reality. So in this space and time, I have a beginning and an end. But I don't fear death, and neither should you. You don't die. But there's so much fear everywhere you look, and if you don't see it, then you're probably a little blind in some areas. There is fear being perpetuated in so many fragmented ways of distraction on this planet that what happens is that we realize that we're so fearful to live that we don't understand we have no beginning, we have no end. That is science, spirituality, that is reality. You didn't start here, you don't end here. So there must come, contrary to religion, a realization that we are not the first and we will not be the last species that have come into this planet. So we are not the pinnacle of all there is. I love how Greg Braden says it. We're not the height of humanity. There have been other civilizations before us that have had advanced technology, whether you believe it or not. Genesis was not the beginning, folks. The metaverse is the womb, the field, the plenum is the womb of all creation that births universes and universes and universes. We're not the first, we won't be the last. But why are we here? We're here to shift into a new planet because as it's going, the planet is going to destroy itself. Look at what's happening, war and death and rumors of war. So it is up to us. It begins with us and it ends with us. And then we enter the collective consciousness to shift this planet. And Braden puts it beautifully when he says we're not the pinnacle of existence. So we've been put here into time to foster a new beginning. Okay, so there was an Atlantis, whether you believe it or not. There was something that destroyed certain things on the planet. And if you think, as religion has taught us, that you're the beginning and you know everything started in Genesis, cut the crap, guys. It's not. You're not. That should give you more of a sense of identity than that one reality ever should. You should see yourself as being born in time for such a time as this, with such brilliance and such empathy and such compassion that everything is in you that you need. So we're not the only ones in the universe, and we didn't start, as I said. So many of you have studied Atlantis, and I'm still exploring, but I do believe there are certain things I believe. Number one, we're not the first civilization. There have been other civilizations that have come before us. That's evident. And I just believe that. You don't have to believe that. Another thing I believe is that there are entities controlling our planet. There are. It doesn't mean that I don't have a higher dimension to rise above, but there is a weedical virus. There is evil trying to control this planet through groups of people that function at a very low energy to try to lock you down. I talk about this every single time. But until you see it, you can't conquer it in your own life and rise up. Because if you see yourself as limited in any way, then when all these laws that are going to start hitting us to lock us down technologically, you're going to say no to them. When you're prescribed things that you know you don't need to take, you're going to say no. When you're told things to do that you know goes against the essence, you're going to not comply. But that realization comes is that you're not the first and you're not the last, but you have been divinely put into time for such a time as this. It all begins and ends with you. There is no savior coming in any form. I don't even know. It's almost like there's nothing to say other than that. There's no savior coming in any form, politically, medically, governmentally, religiously. You are the power that resides within the collective consciousness to change things. And the essence of that energy is always love. Love is not woo-woo. It is not a new age philosophy. It is a strong, powerful energy that operates through the mind and the heart connecting in the field. So let's go back to something Ervin Laszlo said in that book about the Akashic Field. I want to renew and review it again. So evolution is not a smooth and easy process, but it unfolds in the planet in a strong, nonlinear fashion. Are we evolving as a planetary essence? Yes. The earth has consciousness, folks. When God, the divine mind, creates everything, there is consciousness in everything. So the earth, Gaia, has consciousness. And if you don't believe it, it is actually, I was at the ocean yesterday, and you can believe me or not believe me, but the ocean was roaring. It was like it was mad that it's being treated so negligently. It's like those waves were coming in and bam, they were hitting the shore. I live on the California Central Coast, and the wind was coming in, and I just thought to myself, the earth itself has a consciousness. We do not disregard ourselves from this planet. We do not detach ourselves from this planet. To rise in consciousness in an evolution such as a time as this, you're going to have to take into account that you are in time and you are part of the planet. You cannot disregard what's going on around. So he says that this moves in a nonlinear fashion. How does it move? Well, you have these energy distractions, this low energy coming at you with fluctuations from all realms. There are pushbacks, and it's a constant warfare of energy that's going on right now. But we keep pressing on, and we keep moving on, and we don't fall back. It's not always easy, but it is essential. So if we are to attain a positive upshift, we must survive the downshift and not fall victim to it. And everything around us, pretty much everything in the 3D realm, I call it a simulation overlay. I believe there was a projection from prime reality that created a beautiful reality. And I am in this, in beautiful reality, but the simulation overlays started. The lies of religion, the lies of government, everything to lock you down in a very limited space of conscious awareness. Do you know that the ability to see, you see a very small portion of the electromagnetic spectrum. And so there's all kinds of things outside the electromagnetic spectrum that we don't see, that still exist. So we believe reality is what we see. It's not. So how do you access higher realms? You expand your awareness, you expand the frequency by which you live, move, and have your being, and you start becoming open to different things. So then he says, we're at a tipping point. I believe that. So many scientists believe it. So many metaphysical philosophers believe it. So many energy workers believe it. It's like, you don't have to believe this, but you know, I'm 70 years old, folks. Life for me, when I was 10 years old, I walked home at 9 o'clock at night bouncing a ball because I was playing with my friends. And now the fear, the violence, the distraction, the wars, it's nothing like. I can remember a time of family orientation, relationships that met together, that we talked together. Now it's like we're being forced apart in so many ways. So there is a dramatic shift in the evolution. If you don't see it, open your eyes. See it, don't fall prey to it. Because the solution lies in seeing it. If you don't see it, everybody says, don't fearmonger, I'm not going to accept that energy. Well, you got to see it to solve it. If you don't know what you're seeing, you can't solve it. So we're at a point in our evolution, a watershed moment that leads either, here's the bad news, to the extinction of the human species, which has happened in time, in other evolutionary moments in past history, or to the birth of a planetary civilization where humans live in harmony with each other and life on Earth. Now, I'm not an expert on this. I'm just going to put it out there. I have not studied Atlantis and all that. Some of you are more attuned to that. But there have been civilizations in our past that ended. Do you know that even Braden believes that we are put in time, I believe if I say correctly what he's saying, to shift the planet. If you listen to the Arlington Institute, all the people that he has on, it's to shift the planet. We shift the planet by going through, not avoiding it. So this is where we are. So reality. Let's talk about the universe, okay? The universe is a field of vibration. For a while there, everybody likes to talk about quantum this, quantum that, without really understanding the basic scientific facts to engage it into spiritual reality. Do you create your reality? No. It's potential in the field. You don't just cause something to appear before you. What you cause to appear before you is either coming from the pain of your subconscious, or it's coming from the potential of the field. But that memory exists in the field. It doesn't come out of nowhere. So yes, we create our reality by connecting in the field, as the field, and through the field. So another thing is that everybody's talking about energy. Energy this, I don't energize with you, or, and that's all valid. But do you realize that in the field of fluctuating, undulating waves, okay, in the field, they used to call it the 0-point field, but that doesn't, according to Laszlo, that doesn't fully express what it means. It's not just energy existing by itself, it's creating matter. So what's pulling that energy together to create matter? Laszlo says, and I am fascinated by that, it's called information. It's not data. It's information of the memory field, of the Akashic Field, of the plenum. And that is what you hook into to know why you're here. So beyond the appearance of things, there is a deeper dimension of reality, which is comprised of waves originating in a dimension far beyond this one, manifesting in the observable universe at various domains of frequency. So when you increase your frequency, when you increase your conscious awareness, your intuition increases. Synchronicities increase. All this comes because you take the responsibility that everything is within you and you are part of the collective consciousness. Do you know, if you've never read anything by Lynn McTaggart, she has a book called The Power of Eight. And she has shown over and over how in these groups, and you probably know this, how these groups of people can literally shift the energy of areas. Why? Because they tap into the field, not expecting anything than just to change that which is antagonistic to the power of love. So they have seen crime come down in places. They have seen visible manifestations of the energy transformation through meditation. So rather than bitching and griping about everything that's happening, maybe we need to realize firmly, solidly in our being, I am the change. I am the change. You are the change. Again, we're so locked down into thinking that something's coming, that somebody outside of ourselves in any way. No, we're the change to get through this planetary shift. But unfortunately, I also believe that we could be on the verge of extinction of the human species if we don't wake up. And also, I'm not sure of the number, but Teresa Bullard, she's a physicist, she talks about the percentage of people that need to be awake to shift the planet. It isn't a big percentage of people. You are the change. I am the change. So our senses, as you can see, I love this topic. This has changed my life. this curiosity in this realm has expanded me beyond any dogma, doctrine, or anything. It has increased the hope and the joy and the love in my heart beyond measure by simply studying where my intuition led me to study. You have a path. Let your intuition dictate your path, and then speak your truth. So our senses only register within a given narrow frequency range. So what we see is not all there is. That's why entities that are at a higher frequency can come in and out of time. That's a no-brainer, folks. We're living in like a multi-dimensional where everything is already here. We just don't see it. And it's been proven by people that have seen things appear. They don't just come from nothing. They come from different dimensions and frequency of energy. We're not alone on this planet, folks. We're not alone. So information structures the vibration we experience as material things. So if you want to manifest, you have to be informed in the field, okay? I love your comments, Shellstar. I'm going to read them after I'm done here. I'm glancing over them, and they're pretty, really remarkable, the things you're saying. So the thing is that information, when we are informed as to our essence, intuition opens, and then we begin to manifest in our life that is unique to us. So in the field, there is a conservation of energy and its recall. Nothing that has ever taken place in space and time failed to enter the universal information field, and that is where it is conserved. It does not disappear. Energy is neither created or destroyed. Information is neither created or destroyed. It flows and it's available. So if you don't know who you are, be still and know. It's not complex. So the Akasha, the plenum, Ervin Laszlo calls it the plena, the Akasha. He doesn't like to refer to it as the 0 point field because 0 point seems to indicate that there's nothing going on when it is a field that is constantly vibrating and moving, which is what you are. I don't have, again, the exact numbers, but do you know that you have cells that are constantly dying and reigniting? You're always changing. You're always moving. Light energy is always on the move. You're light. You're never, so your manifestation in this realm is not, it's not settled. As you increase, as you're going to increase in light. So even your cells at the basic level of your biology are motivating in and out and translating into light and back into form, into light, back into form. That knowledge alone will help us in the coming days be able to take authority over the fact that we are our biology, and there are many ways of getting healed that don't describe something you have to swallow or get stuck in the arm with. Okay, we are not the pinnacle of everything that's ever happened in our history. So the Akasha, the field, is an omnipresent, all-penetrating dimension of the cosmos, all evolved out of the Akasha, over and over and over. At the beginning of creation, there is only the Akasha. So at the beginning of the creation of this universe, there was a pulling forth of this universe, but it was not the first and it won't be the last. But you have been destined to be into this universe at this time. Don't deny that in any way. So all that happens and all that emerges or has ever emerged in space and time is saved. It continues to be a presence in the Akashic Field. Information can never be canceled or obliterated. It can only be transformed. Think about that. The potential in the field, it's not in a book, it's not in sitting, it's not in rules and regulations. It is astounding to me. And it's astounding to me how religion has you sit in a seat and indoctrinates you with all this belief, but never actually teaches you who you are to access the field to higher realms of potential. Folks, this is insanity, and this is what we are breaking out of. So you are transformed by the information in the field. So our experiences are permanent memories present in the deep dimension of the universe, and in principle, they are always available for conscious recall. I haven't thought about that, but in my personal life, what I've known is since I've started teaching this, I am having these deep memories of specific things that happened to me in my life. Now, you have to realize something. When you're 70, which I am, you have a long life. And sometimes you don't remember certain things that happened because it's a long life filled with beautiful memories, some suffering memories, but they come back to you. When these memories are coming back to me, whether they come in dreams, whether they come when I'm sitting or I just close my eyes, they are for a purpose. Like I remember 20-something, 30 years ago, I was sitting and I had a dream. Now, I've mentioned this dream before. In this dream, I was standing in the Bay Area, which has been my home since 1980, aside from being overseas. And I suddenly saw from the East Coast this gigantic wave. The United States was completely dark. And when this wave rose up, it was beyond description. It was so huge. It came all the way to the West Coast, dropped at my feet, and pulled back. And when it pulled back, over the United States, bursts of light came up. Not the whole nation, but bursts of light came up in an awakening. So this memory came back to me from 20-something years ago, and I realized this is probably now what we're facing. So don't live like everything you see is reality. Don't live, let me go on to the next thing. Let me end with this. The simulation, it is an experience that allows us to immerse ourselves in an unfamiliar environment in order to master the parameters of that environment in a relatively safe way. If we believe we are in a simulation, don't look at that negatively. Okay, look at it positively. We've been put into time for such a time as this. We immerse ourselves. That is why I don't believe in any talk of getting out of here. I'm in the world, but not of the world. I am transcendent in my humanity. I love my humanity. Everything I've gone through, I've integrated into my new birth, into who I am. So the simulation has a definite beginning and a definite end, and there are rules that govern the simulation. Rules that you will learn in order to expand. So one thing is, though, that the user can't tell the simulation from the real world. Now, that's where I'll end, and it's where I'm going to begin the next time. So how do I end this? What do I say? Some of these Facebook Lives, let me say something. I'm doing them for me. I'm so grateful that people are listening. But I don't want you to relax in all the nebulous talk. I want you to critically think. I want you to be brilliant. I want you to explore topics that you don't even think you're smart enough to explore. But you're going to be led that way. I want you to deny the system and not comply and stretch out in your brilliance. So when I'm doing these, I want to get deeper and deeper into profound things. Other times, I just want to speak intuitively. And the reason I'm doing these twice a week is because I just want to get all this out there. So how to end this? I don't know, because we're on a journey. It's like, I just want to be me. Don't you just want to be you? I know sometimes I get really passionate when I talk. That's me. I know sometimes I'm like focusing on so many different things. That's me. What's you? The whole purpose of this talk today is to simply tell you, you are not forgotten. I don't care if everybody in your life has left you. I don't care if every experience that you've had has made you feel like you're nothing. I don't care what people have told you about yourself. You are remembered in the field. There is a memory there of your I am essence and how brilliant you are. So that's about as much as I can tell you. You now have to connect to it yourself because this involves a unique path that is only for you. So I'm just going to continue on this journey where it continues to lead me. And I hope you got something out of this. I really appreciate you listening. I thank you. Have a great weekend. Whew, I'm heading to another part of the country, Southern California. Let me end with this in case my friends watch this. I don't know if you know anything about California, but it is a big state, and the north is way different from the south. So I always tell my friends when I'm coming towards LA, it's like I gotta get my energy a little bit different because it is not Northern California. And I love California. I'm stating it out there, and I'm going to enjoy this weekend just being me with a whole bunch of people that I just love to be around. So I hope I don't want social media. I don't want virtual contacts. I want to sit with a person with a glass of wine or just a cup of coffee, and I want to talk and share and challenge. Let's get back to that life, folks, because that's when it was beautiful. Y'all have a great weekend.